headphone.
Yeah, you have a ticket?
Nah, I forgot, man. I'm sorry.
Oh my god.
Jesus.
Well, where are you going?
Boston.
1375. Low to Boston. Here, you dick. I could charge you extra.
Graffiti in the morning, the world turning. Brainstorming, for sure, a forewarning. Good morning, I'm sorbing.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back. Good to see you back here in Boston. Hope the ride in wasn't too bad. All right, so this is going to set up episode number 3. Similar to the previous one, we're going to pick one specific exercise now that is going to make a huge impact on your life in, once again, a multitude of ways. So what if I told you right now there's this one exercise that is going to have a huge impact on you? It's going to impact not only your strength, your physique, how you look, but your mood and how you feel. You might be asking, how is one thing going to do that? It was something I thought of too, but there is one specific exercise that has a huge impact over all these different categories. If you're wondering what that is the plank. The plank is basically initiated as a yoga pose, but it is a strength training pose. This works all major abdominal muscles. It also helps strengthen your shoulders, your chest, neck, glutes, quads, and your back muscles. This is also known as an isometric exercise, and this pose basically works by contracting the muscles by slowly holding one steady, fixed position. For those of you who do not know what a plank is, imagine a piece of wood. You want your body to be in a similar pose as a piece of wood, flat, straight out. However, there's 2 variants here. One is going to be in a push-up position with your arms all the way out. That's one that might work, especially for people that it might be a little bit heavier set. That can be a challenge. So if that's too easy for you, just getting in that pose, then you might need to do the one that most of us are more aware of seeing, especially in like videos where you're planking in the same position, except now your forearms are flat against the ground with your palms face down as well. This one, immediately when I started doing it, I could feel it in my shoulders, and that's probably because I had some sort of shoulder pain over my lifetime. But this one was the one that I was like, all right, I'm going to focus on this one. The key to either of these planks is having proper form and alignment of your back. You don't want to look like a horseshoe shaped. That's going to be terrible for your back. That's not going to help you at all. And at the same time, you don't want to curve, looking like an arch. You want to exactly think of a wood board and be flat, and then engage your muscles. If you do anything other than that, you're going to, cause issues. So maybe the first time you do it, especially if you're not familiar with this exercise, watch a video on YouTube, and then maybe have someone watch you and just be like, okay, yep, you need to adjust it a little bit until you get into that habit of saying, okay, this is exactly where I need to be before I, start engaging in my workout. Now, I want to talk about the first benefit. The first area that this is going to target, which a lot of people are like, core strength and abs. It does. It strengthens your core. When it comes to building core strength, the plank pose is literally, it reigns supreme due to its ability to work all 4 muscle groups in your stomach. So the plank strengthens the rectus abdominis. This is basically like where the visual 6-pack muscles are. Then there's also the transverse abdominis, which is the deep core stabilizing muscles. And then there's also the internal and external obliques, which is basically the hip and back mobilizing muscles. So think about that. Right now, one exercise, you're already targeting 4 muscle groups. I mean, yes, it's in one area, but this is 4 muscle groups that you're targeting with one exercise. Like, that should be, mind blowing as it is, that you can set this up and do it, 3 times a week for about maybe, if you want to go a little bit crazy like I started off with, I did 3 days at 3 minutes apiece. I didn't always make it, to a minute each, because you do, 3 sets, a minute each. I do maybe like 45 seconds, give or take. But as I kept doing it, I was able to start maxing out at that 1 minute. But when you start, there should be no reason that, you beat yourself up over it. Start off by doing 4 15-second planks if it's really that difficult. This is going to literally make a huge impact in your core muscles. So start off by doing either 4 15 reps. Or if that's too easy, jump to 2 30 seconds. If that's still, a little bit easy, then do a 45 and a 15. And then once you get to it, you'll be able to do 1 minute intervals just like that. Now, another thing that I want to mention that I thought, was a fantastic part of doing planks is it going to, of course, strengthen the muscles. That's a huge thing. But this is also going to help with muscle definition as well. So it's like, imagine, and they say this about running too, but imagine with planking, you're getting in shape. This is kind of like the chisel that really like shows, okay, these are the muscles that are coming in. Like, this really helps show the definition. So along with the abdominal muscles, the plank also strengthens the muscles in your shoulders, your chest, legs, and back. The, functionality of this pose is, combined with the isometric hold, that's going to help strengthen and build lean muscles. And once you start getting these, lean muscles, it's going to continue, as long as you keep doing these reps consistently, increase overall muscle definition on the body. That's huge, because it's like, not only are you getting a good workout in and you're going to feel good about this, but you're literally going to just set you up for continual growth as long as you keep setting yourself on a good routine with this. Like I said, I started off with 3 days at 3 sets of 1 minute, but then I went, kind of overboard, but I love it. And I was like, all right, I'm going to do different variants, because there is a side plank too that you can add in there to really just target your obliques. But I started doing that for like 5 minutes, 3 times a week. Then I went to like 5 minutes, 5 times a week. But this was, like I said, all different types of planks. There's, a bunch once you start looking into it. But we're getting a little off topic now. So I want to jump into my number 3 for importance and, factor that I learned once I started looking up the benefits of planks. It heightens your metabolism. I was blown away to hear that this specific exercise can do that. But they said, on top of the muscle strength and mass that can be obtained through doing a plank, the plank also offers another incredible benefit to go along with these stronger and more defined muscles: a faster metabolism. So when you're increasing your muscle mass, you're boosting your resting metabolic heart rate. In return, this is going to result in a greater calorie burn. And this is, a lot of fitness experts have noticed this, and they recommend it. It's a very effective exercise for what it is. Like, don't look at it and just say, oh, it's a plank. Like, it's much more than that. It has a variety of benefits. And now we're almost about halfway through the list of benefits here. So this next one was another one that I noticed even before I researched it, and I was like, thank God, because I literally was getting so frustrated with this issue. But it helps reduce lower back pain. Now, a lot of us are used to sitting in desks for, classroom hours for college, high school, etc. A lot of us are sitting at work for numerous amounts of hours and driving. We're just constantly sitting. Now, a lot of us, especially I feel like the taller people, I'm, 6'3", so I fall into this category, but my lower back kills. And I was like, maybe it's because I, don't sit right. Maybe it's because the chair I own. Regardless of that, I've upgraded and I've still had these issues. But once I started planking, I was like, wow, this really is like helping my back. Once again, it's about your posture while you are performing this exercise. So as your abdominal muscles become stronger, your body then becomes like less reliant, and they no longer overuse and overextend on the back muscles. So like I said, a lot of our muscles are connected, and because they're connected, this is kind of something that we're not aware of, but you injure something and it's going to affect other muscle groups. So if you have a weak core, you're going to rely on your back muscles to make up for that lack that you have in the front. It's the same thing I noticed when I was training with my coach. I constantly was having tight hips. I was like, I can't kick at a proper height. How do I fix this? My coach showed me stretches for quads and hamstrings. And immediately I was like, okay, I feel a little bit different. Then I added in back, exercises in. Boom, I'm like throwing these kicks and I'm like, holy shit. Like, it's not so much like the muscle itself. It's other things that are, pulling and taking away because I don't have strength in that specific area. And once I targeted not just that area, but the areas that impact that, you're going to notice a huge difference. And that's the same case here. So once, your abs become a lot stronger, the body's not going to have to rely and overuse and overextend on your back muscles in this case. Now, your body's going to resort to using the stronger muscles, which are your core for everyday activities. And then finally, you're going to notice, just like I did, a reduced amount of pain in my lower back. It was fantastic when that finally happened, and I did not expect that at all. My next item on the list was the posture change that I noticed. When I'm walking around, especially like at work, and I catch myself, I'm like, wow, like my shoulders are a lot more squared away now, and they just line up. Now, as you get taller, your shoulders naturally kind of curve in, unfortunately. So for me to start doing this, I immediately was like, wow, look at the change at that. Like, I laugh because I remember my father telling me as a kid, when you had posture like I did at some points, they used to take a broomstick and put it in the behind your back, like through your shirt, just to like help kind of arch your chest out, buff it out. It was the funniest and stupidest thing I've ever heard, but I'm like, now looking at myself, I was like, okay, so this is what it's, you look like when you actually have correct posture, which a lot of us won't because we're constantly, like I said, hunched over at desks, constantly like looking down or bending over. So this is actually going to give you a lot better posture. It's going to make, a lot of the movements that we do a little less tense. This is basically, it helps, ensure the spine, the mid and the upper body muscles are strong and healthy. Like I said, they all impact the back, chest, shoulders, abs, neck. And, once they're working together, it just helps your body naturally line, and you're going to just feel and look better. And that's something like I said, I didn't expect that to happen from this exercise. Another thing that happened, I want to say probably around week 4, by doing the plank, I noticed that when I was like trying to like get my boots on for work, normally I'm like kind of like my stability sucks, but I noticed that this started to impact my balance and coordination. I was able to stabilize, especially when I was in positions that were kind of awkward. As you know, you're trying to put on clothes, you're jumping around, but I was like, I'd just be able to hold a position, throw on whatever I needed to, and I didn't feel like I was, top heavy and gonna fall over. It was conditioning my legs, and that was something I noticed, like I said, around, I want to say like week 4. So once I got back to, researching planks. This was another, fact that I was kind of surprised to learn. But once you practice this enough, the plank allows you to actually engage in weight-bearing physical activities while reducing harsh and painful side effects that are often associated with these exercises, such as jumping and running, because that takes a toll on your joints and your bone health. So when you start performing planks, new living bone tissue is actually created, and what happens is this starts resulting in both healthier and stronger bones. The physical activity that you're doing in this exercise is promoting, really good circulation in your joints, which now allows your bones to, start moving past each other in a smoother fashion. So they're not really working, harder. It's more a fluid system. The final one that I noticed on top of everything, and like I said, it could just be, you look better, you feel better, but it's also known that when you exercise in general, you release neurochemical substances in the brain, and they're called endorphins. So, yeah, you could feel good just by looking at yourself, checking yourself out in the mirror, but you are, because it is an exercise, you're releasing endorphins, and those increase feelings of happiness, and at the same time, they also decrease feelings of stress. Huge, huge thing. And this pose also will help aid in tension relief. And once you feel less tense overall, you're just going to be able to relax. So at this point, it's like you have so many benefits here. You're targeting multiple groups of muscles. You're helping other ones relax. You're feeling relaxed. You're releasing endorphins. And this is just a win-win. This is literally the single best, starting exercise I think I could recommend, especially because it's all body weight and you don't need to go out and buy anything. You can plank anywhere on the street, up on the roof, wherever you want. You can plank. So with that, I'm going to wrap things up for today's episode. I appreciate you all for listening. Thank you very much, and I will catch you in the next episode. Until then, keep vibing.